Hello, welcome to Lazada Insider, featuring knowledge that makes a difference. We share trusted insights, forward-looking perspectives, and exclusive expert interviews to keep you ahead of the curve.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lazada Insider Consumer Insights series. And I'm your host, Katrina, Senior Manager from Lazada Group Strategy. In the past 2 years, the digital and physical worlds are becoming increasingly entwined, and consumers are more open to new and meaningful experiences, regardless of the channels. This certainly represents endless opportunities for business to create superior experience across different touchpoints. So if your business wants to combine the best of the both online and offline worlds, today's interview is for you. I have two expert guests joining me today from Asia Insight. If you watched the stay-at-home trend episode before on Lazada Insider, you're probably familiar with Chong already, co-founder and CEO of Asia Insight, coming with over 25 years of experience in market research and insights. Good to see you again, Chong. And we have a new guest today, Adrian, Managing Director from Asia Insight, also a very seasoned market researcher with over 21 years of experience in the industry. Welcome, Adrian. So, Chong and Adrian, could you quickly share a bit more about what Asia Insight does and also a bit more about yourself?
Sure. As you have introduced, thank you again for your introduction. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Asia Insight. We are a market research consultancy, and we serve large multinationals across the Asia-Pacific region over the last 25 years. And our client spans from technology, automotive, finance, luxury brands, consumer products, and also from the government sector.
How about you, Adrian?
Yes, I lead the team at Asia Insight to deliver our insights to clients across the Asia-Pacific region. So it's a rather hands-on role that includes consulting engagements, developing the business, and developing our talents.
Thank you. Thank you for the intro. Very exciting, different categories of clients, a lot of insights from your day-to-day job, I guess. So let's dive into today's topic, shopping in the phygital world. So what exactly is phygital to start with? Maybe Chong, you can help us understand better?
Sure. So Fijita is quite a new buzzword in the marketing space. It is kind of a wordplay between physical and digital. That's why when we combine the two words, it becomes Fijita, So the hybrid word is kind of up and coming trend whereby physical, traditional channels are merged together with the online channel. And now it spans across all areas of our lives. You can imagine from our work when we start working from home, home-based study, and of course, in terms of consumer shopping behavior. Now consumers don't just shop at one channel, but they go to the, say, brick and mortar retail store, and then they visit the e-commerce site. And, they kind of switch in between the two from the process of information search to product consideration to even buying of products. And these two channels, switching between the two channels is like blurring. Very blur now for most of the consumers.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit more. What are some of the key observations you had on this shift towards phygital shopping behavior?
Yes, based on a lot of market research that we have done during this pandemic period, this phygital shift has been largely driven by consumers, of course, and like what I've mentioned, they switch between online and offline channels. So for example, in the past, say a couple who wanted to shop for an electric oven, just to state a case example from one of our focus groups discussion. Most of the time they will go to, say, an online internet site to search for product information. Then they will go straight to an electronic retailer, to shop, get a touch and feel of the product. And then they quickly just buy it off the retail store, right? But today, the consumer shopping journey has become much more complex. They might walk past a physical store and they saw a product of interest. It triggered their interest, and then they go online, maybe right even at the shopping mall, or the retail mall, and they do an online search on their mobile phone. And then they get a touch and feel of the product. But after that, they go home and patiently wait for the next sale, online, and then they buy it from an e-commerce marketplace. So this is how complex it can get. It can get even more complex, and it's not only applying to home electronics or home appliances, but across various categories, including cosmetics, fashion, and even food and groceries. Yeah. So although it's not like new, but the stay-home economy during this pandemic has greatly propelled this kind of what we call omni-channel behavior. Like the consumer switching between physical and online channels very, very frequently and constantly. So to them, there's not so much difference, to them between online and offline channel. So this is what we call Fijita, and also we call it omni-channel for most of the time. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing the observation. Maybe I'll pose the next question to Adrian. I think Chong mentioned a little bit that this trend has been accelerated in the recent couple of years. Would you agree that COVID-19 has really put a brighter spotlight on this shift?
Yeah, definitely. COVID has changed a lot of things. As Chong mentioned, we've been doing quite a number of studies, and in fact, a recent survey on omni-channel shopping behavior. We did one study like that and compared that to a similar study 3 years ago. And we found that across 8 major categories, over half of the recent purchases involve both an online as well as an offline touchpoint at some point of the journey. So, and when you compare this to 3 years ago, this proportion has increased along with the expected reduction of pure offline only journey. That means there are fewer people who are shopping only offline. In particular, when you deep dive into it, we see the categories of household appliances, home and living, and electronic gadgets having the largest incidence of omni-channel journeys. These are, of course, categories where shoppers tend to take a longer time to research and learn about the products before buying. So across categories, we think it's vital for brands to really rethink their retail and e-commerce strategy and adapt to this behavior.
What I'm hearing is that actually the pandemic is acting like a catalyst per se, especially for certain categories towards this omni-channel shift. Given that, right, how do you foresee then, if let's say COVID-19 subsides in the future, how much of these behaviors you describe would you foresee go back to the pre-pandemic time, or the omni-channel will become more of a commonplace even in the future?
I think like in most things, there would be certain human behaviors that would revert to normal. But at the same time, COVID has kind of brought about an acceleration in the way that we use technology. Many people who are now working from home, will not want to go back, but it does not mean that we will totally not go back to the office, but there will be some ways that we can adapt. So I think in that same way, brands should also adapt when it comes to, to providing seamless experiences as their own customers shift between online and offline shopping channels. What I mean is that a brand should empower a customer who wishes to go online. Let's say they're standing inside the retail store and then create a journey. If this is missing, a customer that goes online and, when you're in a retail store and you want to check out something online and there's no curated experience, they may well end up with a competitor web store, for instance, and then you lose that business. So, and I think today, in our studies and client interactions, we observe that this integration of e-commerce with brick and mortar retail strategy is still a big challenge. And the reason is because a lot of traditional retail brands, they focus on the physical experiences. So I recall, we were talking to someone in a recent study about buying an air fryer, and on the spot, what happened was in store, she used her phone to go online to learn more about the products and then to compare prices. And it was quite unfortunate that that particular store, did not provide a way for her to check out on price and promotions so that she could make a better decision there and then. So she bought something and later kind of regretted it. So therefore, what would have been ideal, and we see some stores already doing this, is to provide easier access, let's say via QR codes or maybe an on-site tablet where they can find information to allow the customer to explore. Because like it or not, this is what they're going to do. They will not just take at face value what they see at the store display. So, and the best part is that you can use these platforms to incorporate a call to action. such as on-the-spot discounts to encourage a purchase to complete the journey. And it's not just about offline to online experiences that we're talking about. I think for some products, customers are starting to shop from home first. So this online followed to offline experience can also even be optimized. So when we study this, we really challenge ourselves and our clients to have this paradigm shift in our thinking. How do we use online and offline spaces, and how to blend both together to create an integrated and holistic shopping experience?
And I couldn't agree with you more on the challenge you shared, right? In a sense, this shift towards omnichannel is happening so fast. In a sense, mastering omnichannel strategy might not be in the DNA of many businesses. So shall we bring this concept of integrated shopping experience that you mentioned more to life? Maybe Chong, you can share with us some examples?
Sure. Yeah, I think this is a very good observation because the speed of changes is so fast and brands have not reacted so quickly. Maybe many are still very busy with the up and increasing e-commerce sale, so they have not thought about this integration. But definitely dealing with many brands, we have seen very good practices, which I can share a few. So let's start with an example of change of retail space usage, retail strategy in terms of a brand, how they change physical retail strategy. So like a major brand, they used to have large flagship store in the city. Yeah, we are familiar with flagship store. But now they kind of relocate to smaller decentralized experience centers closer to customers' residential areas. Yeah. So this actually would help because this store serves as dual role, firstly as a delivery hub, as well as collection center. So this increased the convenience, for customers if they want to visit the store, but it also reduced the delivery time, for consumers. So that's one kind of shift between the moving, the shift to make the online and offline experience closer to consumer. Yeah. So another example which I can highlight is how our retailer brands bridge online and offline experiences, by employing technologies such as virtual reality, to enhance customer shopping experience. For instance, a cosmetic brand, they allow you, like say Katrina, you want to buy lipsticks, to post your photo onto the e-commerce site, and then you can visualize how the different colors of lipstick look on your face or on your lips. Then this tool also not only allow you to experience, but it allows the brand to cross-sell, recommend other related products. So hence increasing the shopping basket value, So this is very important, I believe, for many e-commerce retailers out here, right? And, there's also many different usage of technology. Like, for example, in China, one very popular approach now is using human touch to sell online. So we call it live streaming selling. Yeah. So a real life person showcasing your product and creating like an interactive and engaging atmosphere. And it has been proven that such increase in emotional connection will better close deals for our clients. So in China, you can also see many celebrities engaged by brands to do this live stream selling, and they can sell millions of products. So this is also another idea that our brands can use. Yeah, finally, one more example is on in terms of the product delivery experience, because many brands uses a third-party agent to fulfill the delivery of the products. So it can become very impersonal. So one example is an electronic brand. They provide kind of a wow welcome experience when you receive the product at your doorsteps, So the whole entire unboxing experience, we call it, or out of box experience, is very well designed. There are many happy, congratulating messages to the customer. Oh, welcome to our family, and it's a great product that you have chosen. Then there are also fun content to help customer to make best use of the product. Then there's also QR code for customers to scan and then join a loyalty club. So in doing so, there's building of strong customer connection and loyalty. I think these are some good examples when how brands, try to merge the online and offline experience because, to consumer these days is quite seamless. Yeah, whether it's online or offline, ultimately it's the brand experience that they will receive.
I really love those examples you shared. Very exciting. So for businesses who want to eventually achieve who want to embark on this journey and jump on this omnichannel bandwagon, how should they get started?
Well, I think the first step would be to first study and understand your customers' common phygital shopping journeys. So through understanding how they actually go from the point of awareness and to the purchase, you can uncover how, when, and especially why customers actually switch between touch points. Okay, so the journeys actually begin from awareness and consideration, followed by exploration, which includes things like information search, comparison, and shortlisting of products, and finally the purchase itself. I made it very simple, but usually it's quite a meandering journey. So people go from online to offline, offline to online, and so on. And we then work with our clients, for instance, to bring in the e-commerce and in-store retail teams who sometimes may be working separately, right, to then develop cross-channel strategy. So some examples would be, let's take the electronic products as again as an example. Someone who wants to buy, let's say, a laptop may start with online information search. So they may go and look at search engines and user forum reviews. And then the next stage can be where the shopper itself goes to the retail store to touch and feel the products. So we advise clients at this point to create strong retail presences online. And what do we mean by this? Brands should create positive imageries of their physical retail stores when the customers shop online. So for instance, you can showcase your flagship retail stores via virtual reality for online shoppers to experience the so-called the virtual showrooming effect. So even if they can't go into the store, they can actually see what it's like. And of course, with the metaverse coming about, there are a lot of opportunities for this. Just watch this space in the next 3 to 5 years, right, or to 10 years. And this is especially accelerated during the pandemic because some customers may not be able to, or they may not want to actually visit the physical retail stores. So they will instead use e-commerce sites to compare shortlist products. Therefore, other than virtual showrooming, some brands can also tap on today's technologies, augmented reality product visualization to actually help customers to experience the products virtually. And lastly, something very simple, brands can also help consumers to find the nearest retail store online while browsing in search engines and user forum. So that as they are online, you can tell them, okay, we know that we predict that your next step is going to go to the store. This is where we are, just a 5 minutes walk from your place. And that will then smoothen the journey. So you kind of control, or I would say curate the journey so that you lose less of your customers and you keep them on that journey to the point where they actually make the purchase.
So if you think about it, if you go to that step one of understanding consumer journey, right, it is becoming more complex now. And probably different consumers, they will go through different journeys nowadays. So how can business find out what is this consumer journey look like? Is it through talking to your consumers, observations? How can they find out to start with?
Well, I think in the first place, there is no one common customer journey, very often for most products. But we find like a Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, that many of the journeys can kind of coalesce into 3 or 4 common routes to a purchase. So once we look, and how do we understand this? Essentially, we put ourselves in the shoes of the customers. We speak to them, and we also do focus groups and observation. We go on shopping trips together with them. But then how do we then capture the online portion? So what we have done is to actually recruit some of these shoppers and use app experiences. They will download an app that would allow us to understand what is their online journey. So do they start with a search engine first and then go to the website, or do they go to a user forum and so on and so forth? So I think measuring both the online journey and the offline journey and combining that together will then help us to piece this puzzle together.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing the tips and techniques here. I mean, there are a lot we can discuss about this topic, but probably we
Sure.
have time for one last closing comment. Maybe I'll pose it to Chong Hin.
Sure. Yeah, so maybe to wrap up what Adrian said, what we are doing is to follow a customer through their entire shopping journey. So we recruit the person, we almost do what we call ethnography, like you live with the customer, sometimes virtually, and see how they shop between offline and offline and how to converge. And then we identify, like trigger points where brand can enter to sell or, promote their brands. Yeah. So finally, I think this is a very important session, I feel, for many brands, because as we are talking to many brands and helping them to build their strategy, we have found that, because many brands are now quite busy growing the e-commerce and meeting the e-commerce demand. And so by mapping out consumer journey, we are trying to share with our clients that they should not neglect the offline experience as well, because both come together as a whole brand experience, right? Because ultimately, when after the COVID, the online part will still go on, but customers still want to have like touch and feel of and personal service right at the retail store, right? So then brands should work together, the whole augmentation of online, offline, so that a customer will experience a seamless omnichannel shopping journey. When they switch between online and offline, they don't feel the differences. So this kind of holistic, we call holistic phygital omnichannel shopping experience will greatly enhance your brand your brand awareness and your brand preference. Yeah. So, and it definitely will help you win your customers over. So that's probably my final conclusion for brands out there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chong Hin. And I completely agree with you. I think eventually when, COVID subsides and then, we are free to go out and experience, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the consumers will probably go to the, physical stores again. But, I think what the brands and the retailers, the offline retailers, also need to be noting is that these consumers will not be the same consumer you serve 2 years ago, right? They will demand something different. They are looking for experience. They experienced the convenience and the experience online already. So they will demand something different probably. And
Exactly.
For brands and retailers, they really need to start right now to get prepared, to be well positioned to deliver such experience in the future. It was very great sharing from both of you. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much again, Chong Hin and Adrian, for joining Lazada Insider.
Thanks, Katrina. It's
Thank you,
been a pleasure.
Katrina.
This is Lazada Insider. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you click follow and subscribe so you don't miss our latest insights and expert interviews. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, take care.
Lazada.